Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, on this Monday morning, and glad to be talking to a nerd, Rob Biederman. He's with hourlynerd.com, and a kind of an innovative company, because I've been thinking a lot about all these people who have gone back to college to get an MBA because of the Great Recession, and then they leave and they don't have really much to show for it except for, I got to pay what back every month? So this company is actually helping them really use that MBA and use it quickly. And I'm delighted to have you on the show. Welcome, Rob.
Great to be on. Thanks so much.
So on the nerd scale, like 10 being the nerdiest, and like Revenge of the nerd, and 1 being really very cool. Where do you rank on that?
Oh man, probably about a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, well that's good because you got to be part of the culture if you're going to lead that type of thing.
Absolutely.
So kind of give us the a background of it. Kind of tell us about how old it is, what made you start it, although some things seem a little obvious as to why. Circumstances certainly made a case
absolutely.
for it. But kind of give us an overview.
Surely. So we started the company in February, actually, as a school project at Harvard Business School. And the idea that we had was that all of the MBAs that we knew and ourselves, we had a ton of business experience. We had a ton of spare time in business school, and business school is very expensive, so we needed money. And on the other side of the wall, you have a ton of small businesses who aren't probably getting the best quality advice because freelancers are really hard to find, and big consulting firms like Bain and McKinsey are extremely expensive. And so what we basically put up was a glorified bulletin board on the internet to match the two sides, and we had incredible response.
I love it. I think it's great. What year is this?
What year is this in the history of the company?
Yes.
Oh, we started in February 2013. We're about we're about 6 months in. Yeah.
So are you still in school?
Yeah. The 4 of us are in between our first and second years in school.
Are you going to finish?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go back.
Yeah, sure. My professors might be listening. Sure, I'm going to finish. That's crazy. And you're 26 years old?
Yep, 26.
Classic underachiever, I see. Hey, I'm that's just ridiculous, man. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
And it's getting good buzz, isn't it? Tell us about the buzz.
Yeah, well, we couldn't believe it. The first, pretty early on in the company, maybe within the first month or two, we had an article on CNBC.com, and then the media attention just came like crazy after that. Because I think, the story really resonates with the business media, because small businesses are in a position where they're not growing. They're half of the GDP, and they have barely grown. Their confidence is at the lowest level it's been since 1986. So anything that anyone can do to help small businesses out is really getting a lot of attention right now.
Anything we can do to help make small businesses big. Yep. So I like it. And you have 750 MBAs who signed up for the program.
Yeah, and it grows every day. I think actually this morning we went over 850. So it's growing pretty fast, and it's a high-quality group too. Yeah,
and you say that, so I'm assuming you got certain criteria in order to be a part of this. Besides, it's an MBA. So. Exactly. You don't want necessarily MBAs from some schools. You're looking from maybe a select group of schools with a certain level of performance. Tell me about your criteria.
Exactly. So right now we have MBAs from just the top 20 MBA programs. And
wow.
That is a small market, but it's going to guarantee success on every engagement, and that's what really matters to us. When an MBA bids on a test, they not only submit where they go to school, but also their resume and a 200-word pitch. And we found that businesses will actually take higher price bids from people with better work experience. So businesses are pretty thoughtful about the advice they need.
Yeah, I would say so. And is there a certain grade performance that you're looking for? Of course, to graduate with an MBA, you have to have a 3.0 or higher. That's my understanding, at least.
Yeah, there's no required grades, but, over time you get feedback on the site, and so those are kind of the hourly nerd grading system. So if people rate you well, you'll be able to bid on projects.
Yeah, it's a very, very high-end, kind of like, what do they call it? Odesk? Kind of like a very high-end Odesk, sort of.
That's exactly right, a high-end Odesk or Elance or TaskRabbit.
Very high-end Odesk. I mean, you ain't going to get any $4.50 an hour here, but you know what? You are going to get access to credentialed people that you otherwise wouldn't have access to at a very competitive rate.
Exactly.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. You're a genius, but you've probably been told that before. So tell me what do you see mapping out? I mean, obviously when you made a business plan, you had certain expectations and benchmarks. Sounds like you're exceeding on, and excelling on all of those. But tell me what you envision mapping this out.
Yeah, exactly. So, we've had probably, to date, we've had about $20,000 of revenue in the months we've been running. We're in the midst of a massive website upgrade. We're raising venture capital financing of about $500,000 to $750,000. We're going to spend on upgrading our website and doing a ton of marketing efforts to small businesses and to the MBA programs. And so, we expect we have a large partnership launch, co-marketing agreement launching with a technology company in the fall. And so I think we expect to be at a couple $1 million of revenue by some point this fall. And then we'll see where the business grows from there. I think there's a lot of potential acquirers for whom this could make a lot of sense to put alongside their current product offering.
So tell me how, kind of give me some averages. And I realize it's kind of early to talk about averages, but what is the average wage that these guys are being paid?
Yeah, sure. So our average project goes for about $750, and I'd say that usually encompasses maybe 10 to 15 hours of work. And so MBAs are making about $50 to $75 an hour. And, that may seem a little bit high, relative to what you'd pay a frontline employee, but relative to what you pay consulting firms, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
The Bains and the McKinseys of the world make $250,000 a week.
It's nothing. And I know it's, it's hard for some people to believe, but it really is low. How do you get paid?
So we just take a 10% cut from the business. So if they pay the student $50 an hour, we get an extra $5 from the business. And then the student, we take 5% from the student, and everybody's to date has told us that that's a perfectly fair arrangement because we're really creating great value for both sides.
Okay, very cool. And so you got all these nerds laughing all the way to the bank, basically.
Well, Kevin, the craziest thing is that if you really put your mind to it on our site right now, you could probably make over $200,000 a year. And so what we're really trying to encourage one person from our class at Harvard to do is to take Hourly Nerd as their full-time job when they graduate. And we bet that they can have complete lifestyle flexibility and make more money than they probably could at a job.
And so basically, most people, that's an interesting, wow, that I can barely talk. That's an interesting thought because, most people who are C-class, C-level type of people with their MBAs, of course, they have to work a long time to get there. And then their next goal is to become consultants so they can have total flexibility. Right? I mean, that seems to be the goal for most MBA types in my experience. And I know a lot of MBA types. In this case, they can skip all those hurdles and go exactly to what they're looking for, which is to be a consultant. Exactly right.
So, Sigmund here, it sounds to me like you've changed the MBA to an NBA.
An NBA?
A nerd business administration.
Ah, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And that is the right way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. I love that. By the way, that was our producer, Sigmund. For those who wondered, we did not get our studio taken over by terrorists. But anyway, yeah, it's just phenomenal. I love this idea. Clearly, I need to do more stories on it because this is just a phenomenal idea. I think you're onto something. I guess you know that, though.
Oh, thank you. I think we're creating great value for the businesses, and that makes us pretty excited.
Yeah, well, this is good stuff. I've loved it, and I thank you for being with us. I do want to encourage people to get more information on it, and it's very easy. They can go to hourlynerd.com. Very cool site, very well done, very professional. Rob Biederman, him and his two partners are all under the age of 30, and but you wouldn't tell by their bank statements already, I'm sure. And Rob, I'm going to hold you just for a little between the break because I want to get some more information from you. But thanks so much for doing a great job.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. When we come back, much, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. I guarantee you there'll be a story about this over there. While you're there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. And you're listening to The Price of Business.